Hi everybody, we're going to do lesson 8-11 and we're going to do the quadratic formula again. Which is x equals b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so first problem we're going to do is number 1, 9x squared minus 12x equals -1. Okay, well, if you remember, a quadratic equation is set up as ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Right now, we don't have this quadratic equation set up equal to 0, so we're going to move the -1 by adding 1 to both sides. Okay, now we get 9x squared minus 12x plus 1 equals 0. Now we name our A, B, and C. So our A equals 9, our B equals -12, and our C equals 1. Okay, so now we can take that and we can put it into our equation. So x equals, oh, that's a -b. -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Yep. Okay, so x equals -b. Well, b is a -12. The negative of that is +12. So 12 plus or minus the square root of b squared. -12 squared is 144. And then minus 4 times a, which is 9, times c, which is 1. All over 2 times a is 9. Okay. Now, let's simplify this. We get 12 plus or minus, now this is 144 minus 4 times 9, which is 36. 144, 134, 24, 14, 8, 108. Check your calculator on that one. All over 18. Okay. Now we see a radical that is not a perfect square, this 108. We're going to take that 108 and we're going to break it down. So 2 times 54, 2 times 27. That's a 9. I wanted a 7. 2 times 27, sorry about that. 3 times 9 is 27, and 3 times 3 is 9. So we have double 3s, double 2s going out, and a single 3 staying in the house. So it's x equals 12 plus or minus. The 2's and the 3's come out as a 2 times 3, which is 6. Okay, 2 times 3 is 6. What's left over goes on the inside of the radical sign, and then all over 18. Now we have to look at our 3 numbers here, the 12 and just the 6, the coefficient of, well, I don't know, the outside number for the radical. 12, 6, and 18. All of those are divisible by 6. So if I divide 12 by 6, I get a 2. If I divide 6 by 6, I get a 1. And if I divide 18 by 6, I get a 3. So this is what comes down. X equals 2 plus or minus, we don't have to write the 1 there, plus or minus the square root of 3 all over 3. That's your final answer. All right, that's number 1. Okay, if you need to pause and take a look at that again, be my guest. Otherwise, we're going to go to number 2. Okay, so number 2. Okay, 2x squared minus 8x plus 7 equals 0. Okay, so this guy is set equal to 0. Remember, you're talking about ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, being standard form of a quadratic equation. Okay. All right, so we have a equals 2, b equals -8, pick up the negative, c equals 7. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to write the formula as a formula first. X equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so x equals the negative of -8 is +8, plus or minus the square root of b squared, -8 squared is 64, minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is 7, all over 2 times a, which is a 2. Okay, x equals 8 plus or minus. So -4, I'm just figuring this part out. -4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 7 is 56. So it's 64 minus 56. That's an 8. Look at this. Lots of 8s here. All over 4. There is no perfect square for 8. 8 is not a perfect square, so we're going to break it down. And we're going to get 2 times 4 and 2 times 2. That means we have a pair of 2's coming out and a single 2 on the inside. So we get x equals 8 plus or minus, this is 2 on the outside, rad 2 on the inside, all over 4. Now look at these three numbers and decide, can I reduce each of them? So let's see, 4 goes into 8, or 2 goes into 8, 2 goes into 4. So we're going to divide by 2 everywhere. We get a 4 here, we get a 1 here, and we get a 2 there. Okay, so x equals, this is our final answer, 4 plus or minus radical 2 all over 2. We cannot simplify this radical 2 and the 2 because one is inside the radicand and one is outside, meaning not under the radical sign. All right, those are my 2 examples for you. I'm only doing 2 for you, and then you're going to do 2 for me. All right, so I'm going to pause this. Okay, so copy these 2 problems down. This is a 5. The formula's up there. When you hit pause, you'll still have the formula there. Work out the problems, see how you do. Okay, here are those 2 problems worked out. If you didn't get the same answer as me, just try to check your calculations and see, piece by piece if you got the same thing as me. All right. Hey, have a great day, everybody.